Yo, what's up, players? I know it says Yap Sesh, but I really want to just talk first about how bad this 9.1.0 PTB is. Uh, I'm recording this Wednesday night, technically Thursday morning, and I've had a couple days to really sit with the proposed changes, and I really don't like anything that they have put forward. Mainly just about killers. Some of the perk changes were pretty good. The new perks that are coming with the Walking Dead survivors, Michonne and Rick, uh, I really don't know who this benefits besides group play. Which, like, why are we doing so much to, like, quote unquote help solo queue players if we continue to make perks that only work in group play? I don't know. You'll never find me bitching about Swift if I lose to a team of people that want it more. Oh well, I'll probably match their amount of sweat if I have the perks available to do that, or if I brought the perks. But like, I'm not one to complain about Swifts. I think if you're losing to a Swift, it's probably because you either didn't realize that they're a Swift and didn't dodge, or you just care too much about winning. I don't know. Um, but yeah, these perks aren't really like, what is the point of these perks? I really don't understand. The only one that I think will actually be beneficial is the throwdown perk from Michonne. Whenever you pallet stun or blind the killer, injured survivors within 24 meters gain endurance. Now, I think it should only be saving, like pallet saves or flashlight saves. Just blinding or pallet stunning, giving other people endurance is stupid. I think if you really wanted to make this perk only good against, and that's the thing, I think you could easily make this perk only good against like 3 killers in the game, and even then it would barely slow them down. So, um, effectively, if you make this only saves, it really only is good against Blight, Nurse, Kaneki. Three of the most insanely broken killers this game has ever made. And yeah, if there's a perk that only works against those three, who fucking cares? Um Last Stand, I don't really understand what the fucking point of that is. Conviction, yeah, I don't know who ever thought that was a good idea. Um, yeah, that's really bad. Conviction, make it like 20, or like make the 25% to like 50 or something. I don't know. Toughen up. Another no scratch marks. I don't know why. Like 4 or 5 years ago, whenever well, no shit, Yumi came out a long ass time ago. Fuck. Whenever they changed what's the one Yui perk? Hold on. I'm so old. Um I don't even remember what it's called. Holy fuck, man. Lucky Break. Holy shit. Whenever they changed Lucky Break to the point where you can get back progress or like use of your perk, I feel like they continue to make these perks that are really just like Lucky Break, but in a different situation, that pretty much enable bad pathing and really enable bad players as a part of that. And I understand that there's only so many perks you can make, but maybe we don't shit out 3 perks per survivor and then release survivors in packs of 2 once a year. Just an idea. Actually, twice a year. Sorry, there's like 5 or 6 survivors a year. So yeah, I really don't understand. Building a pallet, okay, whatever. Party pallets suck anyways. Um, yeah, I just besides throwdown, I really don't understand what the point of any of those perks are. Now to Pyramid Head. Base kit, what was that? Shit, I forget. It's not Wax Doll, it's fuck. Whatever. A base kit range, good. Maximum duration, they doubled it. Why? Lifetime, good. Decreased movement speed, whatever. Doesn't really do anything. Input buffering really doesn't do anything. If anything, that's just going to make him clunkier to play, even though it's going to feel smoother. This is a really good change. I know you guys can't see it. Well, I'm gonna have gameplay in the background, but survivors who were rescued from a cage gain base kit BT. Now, I like the idea that if you're sent to a cage, you don't get anti-tunnel perks. I really do like that. But why the fuck did it take this long to finally give some type of endurance, some type of counterplay to getting proxy camped and then just like maximum range hit as soon as somebody like pulled you out of the cage, basically? Why did it take this fucking long to provide counterplay to being like hardcore tunneled? I don't really understand. They increased the blood point score for rescuing a survivor. Cool, whatever. Bunch of his add-ons look cool as fuck. Increasing the width but decreasing the range is cool, and vice versa. The shockwave speed increase is sick. Reveals the aura of the rescuer. I don't really understand the point of this one. Spearhead. I need somebody to clarify what the fuck that does. You still get a loud noise notification when somebody's pulled off of a cage, so like you know where they were if you didn't already have like a rough if you didn't already have a rough estimation. Yeah. Exhausted on rights of judgment. Don't know why it took so long to make that. Decreases your tear radius by 2 meters for each survivor affected by torment. Now, I like infectious fright mixed with monitor and abuse. What the fuck is the point of this? Because like, I don't know. I don't get the point of that. That kind of feels useless. Like, I feel like that's counterproductive to infectious fright. Now reveals the auras of survivors within 3 meters for 6 seconds upon missing. So you just get aura reading for missing your power. That's awesome, man. That's really cool. So they took the old iridescent and made it what, like a purple or something? Undetectable while using it. Oh, instead of walking on it. Okay. Now reveals the aura of survivors injured by your power. Why do we keep doing this? Yeah, we finally have a Pyramid Head add-on rework, and it's like, oh, just kidding. It's just basically no counterplay add-ons. Very fun, very fun, very fun. Inflicted by torment to spawn rights of judgment trails when they sprint. Oh, okay. So if somebody's tormented, then they can pass it on. That kind of seems broken. Like that one artist add-on. I forget what it's called. Isn't it Glove or something? Punishment hits to replenish rights of judgment. So what? Does it recharge the exact same? Because right now I think it's like 3 or 4 seconds. It's like a 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 ratio. I want to say it's like 3-to-1. So getting back your power, like 30% of your power, doesn't really seem useful because it still only uses 10% or 20%. I don't know. Now causes survivors injured. Oblivious. Wait, did they remove the fucking Sloppy Butcher add-on? Are you kidding me? Hold on. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Oh, did they keep the Sloppy Butcher add-on? Because there's only 19 add-on changes here. Oh, did they keep the Sloppy? I don't know. I didn't download the PTB. If there's not a killer update that I really care about, like, I'm not going to download the PTB. I'm not going to waste my time doing this shit. Injured by the... Oh, yeah, Oblivious. I mean, that could be pretty decent. Again, I wouldn't use it because I love Infectious Fright on Pyramid Head. Allow punishment of the dam to destroy pallets. Wow. Destroy pallets. That's... So you combine that with the miss or reading and destroy the pallet, zone them again with your power. That's awesome, man. That's really engaging gameplay. Decreases punishment of the dam's range by 50%. What? Punishment of the dam's range increases by creating rites of judgment trails. So you have to hold your power in order to get double range. That could actually be really good with the undetectable, what is it, Tablet of the Oppressor. That can be really good. That can be like a funny pairing. Ooh, you know what? You know what? You could do... Yeah, you could do the undetectable Tablet of the Oppressor with the iridescent cell of Metatron. Iridescent seal of Metatron. And then you could do the new... It's gonna come to me. Overwhelming presence is what I was meaning to say. Now to the fucking stupid shit that behavior does seemingly every fucking time there's a PTB. Clown, 2%. Wow. The real kicker is that the yellow bottles are much faster to activate. So it's just brain dead. You're 12% faster. And then the inputs for reloading and charging the throw can now be held, starting the action as soon as it becomes available. So basically, it will want to reload instead of switching bottles. So they basically just made it harder to swap between bottles. And they buffed the yellow and nerfed the purple. So clown players already don't have a lot of brain matter rattling around up there. They're just going to use yellow bottles and become 27% faster than a survivor. And because you guys failed miserably at removing haste stacking, they're just going to stack more haste perks. God. Bunch of add-on changes that I don't really give a fuck about. Cigar box, they nerfed it by 10 meters. I don't know why. That was like one of his only good add-ons. God. Dude, fucking in November, I applied for their playtesting program, right? I would like to think that I am the reason that Knockout got changed. Not that Knockout specifically, but I am the reason what Knockout became to be. In my application, I gave them a perk idea that if somebody leaves the pellet too early, they get hinder. Back in November, that shit was made, what, February? Whenever Freddy got reworked. So, I would like to say that I had some kind of, if anything, some kind of influence in changing Knockout. Now, 3 months later, after November, in like February, when 2v8 was coming out, I got an email saying like, hey, we would love to have a little bit more of an onboarding with the playtesting. Like, okay. Haven't heard back. None of this shit was playtested. None of it. Pig is still fucking useless. Oh my god, she's 4.0 crouched. Oh my god. Oh my god. No way. Oh. Whoa. Does nothing. It literally does nothing. Nothing. You can make her 4.4. I don't give a fuck. I really don't. Made a couple add-ons base kit. She's still her ambush is still an outdated power that without any kind of inkling of surprise is so easily telegraphable, and it doesn't last long enough to actually outplay any fucking god palette. It is basically the exact same power, except now that person that held W and you didn't realize, you might catch up and you might get a hit. That's it. I'm sorry, I sound so pessimistic, but like, we do all of these fucking changes that are eventually just going to either be walked back or completely different by the time the mid-chapter comes out. So like, what's the point of doing these changes if you guys don't fucking playtest them? Knight, max patrol length, awesome. Path acceleration speed, awesome. Or path creation speed, awesome. Acceleration, awesome. The strafe speed, awesome. That is so fucking sick. I was watching Zempixie fuck around with that. That is awesome. And then you get to this shit. Standard spawn time of Carnifex. Didn't need a buff. Assassin. The standard spawn time. Didn't need a nerf. 1 second off of Assassin isn't terrible. If you're getting hits with Assassin, it's because the survivor made a mistake. Now, if you're getting hits with Jailer, it's because the map's bad. Why they nerf Jailer, I don't fucking know. From 10 seconds to 4 is... What's the point of using any power besides Carnifex at that point? Seriously. What's the point? And then they made Call to Arms, which, if I'm not mistaken... Yeah, so right now, Call to Arms gets you to 42. So they made Call to Arms partially base kit, and then just nerfed it into the fucking ground to be where Call to Arms is right now. Why do they do this shit? And then they said something about Oni, the increase the Demon Strike turn rate limit to 540 degrees. I mean, are you really doing a 360 and then a 180? Whatever. Fog Vials. They're fucking stupid. Nobody liked this shit. You guys forced it into the shitty-ass game mode that you ran every Halloween for the last, 3 years. Nobody wants this. And then you add a bunch of add-ons and variants. It's... my God. Key rework, I don't get the point of this. I mean, I don't know, man. At least they made Blood Amber like a two-way, kind of like with Object. Maps, whatever. They fucking... I don't really understand. The Crimson Stamp... why? Why the Crimson Stamp killer's aura is revealed when you place a beam of light. Sorry, I sound out of it. It's 1:35 in the morning. I just got out of the shower. Retired key and map add-ons. Instead of making them something, they just get rid of them. Insidious, why not just add a lingering effect? That would be pretty cool. Hubris finally fucking caught a buff. This perk was so dog shit unless you were running an entire build to get value, like one fucking value out of Hubris. And even then, Vigil is the best perk in the game right now. Dragon's Grip, 10 seconds off. I don't really understand the point of this, but I mean, hey, I'll take it. I like using Dragon's Grip. Hangman's Trick, this perk is just fucking terrible. Yeah. 16 meters while carrying a survivor still, it does nothing. It really does nothing. Overwhelming presence. The one positive thing that came out of this update. The first half, dog shit, whatever. When a survivor starts using an item within 32 meters of you, they can exhaust it for 15 seconds. Now, this is pretty nice with Mindbreaker, but if I have to run 2 perks to get value out of 1, I don't know, it's stupid. It's really dumb. Then, when a survivor within 32 meters of you gain exhausted, you see the closest exhausted survivor's aura for 4 seconds. And then it goes on a 25-second cooldown. Now, this is really nice because sometimes on stealth killers, you might just catch up on somebody, even if you use Mindbreaker as well. You just catch up on somebody using an exhaustion perk, especially with how valuable they are nowadays. Just free aura reading. On stealth killers, I think this could be really good. On my Wesker build, this could be okay with Blood Echo. That I just made a video about like a week ago, whenever this video comes out. Yeah, Franklin's Demise. No longer loses charges over time. Franklin's Demise is the only way that M1 killers have even a fucking chance to deal with more than like 2 or 3 medkits. Now, I don't really use Franklin's Demise all that much. Plainly because I don't play a lot of M1 killers, and when I do, I'm not making videos about it to post to YouTube. I know that sounds crazy. I like M1 killers. I like majority of killers that are in the game. And Franklin's Demise made killers like Trapper, Sadako, hell, even Trickster sometimes playable. Let's just go down the line. You know? Franklin's Demise made Deathslinger somewhat playable, made Legion somewhat playable, made Ghostface really playable, made Pig playable, made Hag playable, made Trapper playable. Hell, even Myers back in the day, when green medkits were really disgusting. So, like, to me, when you change a bunch of charges, not even a bunch, when you add a new item and then change the amount of charges that it are like, or like you rework the amount of charges on existing items, it just tells me you guys are so lazy that you don't even want to do the math or like overhaul the charge survivor item system, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like, to me, that just seems like a lazy cop-out to destroying the only perk that helped M1 killers. Like, sure, Surge is really nice, but Franklin's was really the only way that you could counter medkits right now. Like, I'm not going to hop on the bandwagon and say that killer is getting harder, but I think behavior is making sub A tier killers much, much harder to play. And that is not the way, that is not the direction that this game should be going. And if anything, killers above A tier should be harder to play. And killers below A tier should be easier to play. I don't... So... Essential Energy. Yeah, that... I don't really think that does anything. It just activates faster, which was like... I don't know. I mean, it's actually a decent perk when you know how to use it. But it was a pretty hefty time commitment. So, like, I guess... yeah, I don't know. Any means necessary. I love this perk. 3 seconds to pick up a pallet is kind of fucking stupid. I can't lie. That is... Yeah, I don't know about that. 4 seconds was pretty balanced. 3 seconds is... Yeah. I'm already looking at Still Sight. I fucking hate that perk. So, Still Sight, when you stand still for 4 seconds, it shows you the auras of pretty much everything within 24 meters. Now, at 4 seconds, it was pretty balanced. On a private server, I tested 3 seconds, mid-chase at Shack, it was insanely fucking broken. 3 seconds standing still, check spotting, pretty much anything while the killer is mind gaming, you get aura reading. You see exactly where the killer is momentarily. And instead of making it 3 seconds where it was broken on a private server, now they want to make it 2 seconds. This shit should not go live. What the fuck are we doing, behavior? I totally passed over Better Together. This perk is ass. I don't really care. Built to last. Why? Why are we buffing Built to last? You just fucking nerfed the shit out of the only way to counter medkits. And you're buffing the perk that buffs medkits. Appraisal, whatever. I mean, it's still ass. Whatever. I like using Human Greed. I have a bunch of year 8 offerings, so it's still good. Hi, Jupiter. What's up? I'm being loud. I know. Yeah, I hope you guys can pick that up. Streetwise. Deplete an item with charges. See the killer's auras. Item with charges retrieved from chest. Items with charges retrieved from chests. So is this like that situation where Vecna's chests give you like half-used items if you get below like a 4 or 5, whatever? Like, is that what they're going for? I don't know. Detective's Hunch, 20 seconds. Why? Like, you nerf maps, or like you completely remove the ability to stack with maps, and then I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know why this wasn't in the game before. It kind of seems like behavior just rushes in to do something that people complain about and don't really think it through. Like, why this took 6 weeks to add, I don't know. Very cool. Presets, very cool. I have like 5 or 6 outfits on my Oni, so like, and really Oni's like the only killer that I have more than 3 outfits for, so that'll be really cool for survivors. Especially the loadout presets is gonna be really nice. Cool, man. Fallen Refuge, whatever, new map. Yeah, fix an issue where using a killer powered vault would trigger the Unbound perk. Let's see if they actually fix that. They nerfed the shit out of Unbound, where it was like actually usable on M1 killers that don't have an anti-loop power. But because it was really powerful on Kaneki with his Centipede add-on, we have to nerf it. Again, S-tier killers that completely destroy perks that are good, like somewhat decent on lower tier killers. Just like they did with Awaken Awareness. Very fun, very fun. Dude, behavior. Please, bro, please. Just let me playtest shit. I will sign an NDA. You can hook a fucking car battery up to my nuts if I ever leak some shit. Just please let me playtest some shit. I fucking love this game. You guys are destroying it. Like, fucking stop doing this shit. You guys, 3 fucking killer changes that don't matter. 3 killer changes that don't matter. That will probably get reverted. Night changes sucks ass. Besides, like, making Call to Arms base kit. Pig changes do nothing. Clown changes do nothing. Make him more boring. The Pyramid Head changes. He's already a fucking mid to high A tier killer. Does he need this many buffs? Just give him like decent add-ons. Fuck, man. Oh, dude. I'm already 30 minutes deep into this shit. I still got other shit I don't want to talk about. Oh, bro. Holy fuck. Okay, so the whole meat and potatoes of this video, now that I'm done rambling, was about precision cooldowns. I think they are far too long, and I have quite a few examples, so if you will stick with me before you type out a comment that doesn't make sense, and I will spend 10 minutes trying to interpret what the fuck you just said. What I mean is that a precision cooldown are way too long when a far less precise version of that power exists that has a shorter cooldown, and in most cases is just stronger. Since I'm a P100 Wesker main with well over 1,000 hours, I want to say it's up to like 1,300 across multiple platforms. I can confidently say that a base 11-second cooldown is way too long. Yes, he got Gloves base kit, and back when Houndmaster came out, that still fucking does nothing. Considering this is his entire map mobility, you have to choose whether to give up map pressure for chase pressure and vice versa. This leads to low points in Wesker gameplay and often puts a bind on the killer in certain maps. In order to get the jump on survivors, you gamble that they do not have the right perks or resources for the situation they find themselves in, which is a totally fair trade-off until you look at a killer like Houndmaster, who has better map pressure than Wesker, with it being on a half-second fucking cooldown. She arguably has a better chase power with a 3-second cooldown. You might say Wesker's infection is supposed to make up for that. And you're right, it's supposed to. But after Band-Aid nerf after Band-Aid nerf, and then completely fucking gutting his infection, it is basically useless. If you did not know, Leverage, one of my favorite perks right now to run on Wesker, a survivor can get off of a hook, heal with just leverage applied to them, or somebody can heal them with just leverage applied to them, and then they can go find a gen within 5 seconds of being healed, and they can sit on that gen and finish it themselves with nothing else, and they still will not be fully infected by the time that gen is completed. It takes 119 seconds to be fully infected. Why does it take so fucking long to become fully infected? Like, I don't know, man. Rather than making it pause until you progress the game, conspicuous action, they just fucking butchered it and gave a slight cooldown buff to his already atrociously long cooldown. And to put this in perspective, this is something that I have been complaining about for the last year. Back when Vecna came out, they completely destroyed Wesker's infection. Now, just imagine, right? Imagine that they nerfed Wraiths like movement speed while cloaked. They gave a like quarter-second increase to the speed that he uncloaks, but then made his invisibility transparency like 35%. And then we're like, yeah, let's make 3 killers after that decision that are all invisible and move really fast while they're invisible. What if we just made Sadako where she has like a 15-second cooldown on each TV after she teleports? What if we did that? Like, that is literally the level of this Wesker nerf. Like, if I didn't have such an egregious time sink into Wesker, I'd be playing Dracula right now. I'd already have a P100 Dracula because I enjoy Dracula. But I play Wesker because I have a disgusting time sink into playing this character. And I say all this to lead into the big question. Why play a character that takes an immense amount of skill over the brain-dead baby killer like Houndmaster or Dracula? I mean, Dracula still takes a lot of skill, but compared to Wesker, he is brain-dead. Brain-dead easy. Simply put, I love Resident Evil. I grew up playing the games, and when Resident Evil 8 came out, I heard about Wesker coming to DBD, and I was like, fuck it, I'll get back into the game. And ever since then, I've been playing DVD pretty much nonstop for the last 3 years of my life. And I absolutely enjoy Wesker still. Have come to the conclusion that I either play to win or I play to have fun. I can't really do both because of the maps. And you either focus on clip farming and doing cool shit, or you focus on winning, which is primarily just boring as fuck Wesker gameplay. And it's kind of hard to make YouTube content because you pretty much have to play 30 games to get one good enough game where you do enough cool shit. And I don't want to make montages or like compilations of just clips because it's lazy as fuck and there's really no creativity into that. So it's just like, I don't really know how to make Wesker content at this point because like the clip farming shit where you see like Bluetooth insta hugs and just like the most over the top Wesker clips isn't sustainable, right? Insta hugs were like a brand new thing 6 months ago, and my old decrepit ass with early onset arthritis in both hands have figured out how to do insta hugs, right? They're no longer special because I have figured out how to do them. So now we have to move on to even cooler and dumber shit. And it's just, I don't want to make that type of content. I do have a job, nothing against the people that are making the really flashy Wesker clips, but like, I don't have the time available to practice stuff like that. And so it's just like, it gets to a point where I either play for my personal fun or I play to win and play to make like YouTube content. So it's just, you can't have both with Wesker. And I think that really just stems from his infection being useless, where back in the day I could play for fun and still make YouTube content out of it. Now it's just like, all right, I either sweat my ass off or I go for cool shit and it's not really a YouTube game. I don't know. I'm just ranting, but I do think this is like an overarching theme with a lot of the character design in the game. In the newest killer, the animatronic has a fire axe with a fairly lengthy cooldown, about 7 to 10 seconds, whether you miss or hit, respectively. And he does have an add-on to diminish each cooldown, but really, why do we need a brown add-on to make killers feel better to play, rather than picking add-ons to improve your gameplay? What I don't really understand, and I would love for somebody to explain in the comments, why would a one attempt killer have a long cooldown when it purely incentivizes you to lose your axe until you need it to hit a survivor? If you gain 5% haste, basically, if you become 115% movement speed by throwing your axe, what is the point of having a 7-second cooldown on a miss? There's a recall animation. It is very loud on the survivor's side. If anything, it just de-incentivizes people for going for cool shit, doing cool stuff. And if I get severely punished for going for cool shit on Springtrap, I'll just go play Huntress. She has fucking 7 hatchets base kit. With OCAFT, you can make it like 1.8 seconds. Like there's basically no downside if you use OCAFT on Huntress. So it's like, why would I play the killer that takes a bunch of skill when there's another killer that basically has no cooldown? You just have to reload like every minute. That's nothing. And she has an add-on that increases how fast you can reload. An already pretty quick animation can become quicker. So it's like, why would Springtrap have a 7-second cooldown when it benefits you to activating that cooldown? That's what doesn't make sense to me. I would love for somebody to explain what that does. And I feel like Behavior adds long cooldowns to make the killer feel a little bit more balanced in all respect, and it really just like slows down the feel good cycle. The feel good cycle is kind of a term I came up with to describe these highly volatile killers that take a lot of skill. Basically, like killers that if you do really well, you notice how well you're doing and it feels really good to play. But if you're doing bad, man, those cooldowns become excessively fucking overbearing. And it's basically how long are you out of chase and just turn into an M1 killer before you can do something again. And this downtime, combined with all of the other downtime that plagues DBD, can make a bad game on a high skill killer make you want to switch off to something that is a little bit easier, something that you don't really have to think about. Which again, why would I want to play precision killers when they have a very similar feel good cycle with less downsides and for the most part are way stronger with their respective powers? And I have another example, so just again stick with me. I do think Deathslinger is a poorly designed killer for DBD. While he is fun, he truly does not fit this game and has been slop ever since he released. I think back when Deathslinger released, Behavior was trying to add something that kind of rivaled Huntress, but wasn't exactly a one-to-one copy. And Deathslinger was the best they could come up with. And it was literally unreactable for survivors for like 3 years, and then they gutted the fuck out of him. And now he's like not really playable. Because mainly because of the maps, they just remove all the cool shit that you can do on Slinger. And that's kind of why I stopped playing him, because hey, I've been playing Slinger since day one, or since he came out, and I found all the cool spots as has everybody else, and I've been watching and learning from Deathslinger mains, and like there's just not much you can really do about that shit. But I say all that to say that Behavior has really done their best to balance him, and I will give them props for that. But it really has been with Survivor fun in mind. And to be fair, unreactable harpoon gun, you should probably consider the Survivor fun before the killer. But he just gets these minor quality of life improvements every so often when they just look at the stat sheet and they're like, oh, Deathslinger kill right down, pick right down. Make him a little bit faster reloading. Yeah, that'll work. And it's minuscule distance gained. And I ramble about all of this to bring up the point that Slinger and Kaneki have very, very similar feel-good cycles. Press M2, you aim at a survivor, you press M1, and the survivor is put into an animation. Now just imagine if Kaneki wasn't a hit scan damage, and rather a projectile. He's literally just Deathslinger with a movement ability, which Deathslinger has desperately needed since he came out. He's been 110. I don't even know if he was 115 at any point. He's been 110 since he came out. And if you're a regular around here, you probably know how much I feel about these two killers. And really that Kaneki should have been a Deathslinger rework. But I digress. And really, like, what's the problem with Deathslinger and Kaneki in their cooldowns? Now, if you miss on Slinger, you have to go through the harpoon recoiling back, which I think by the in-game stats, it's like 13 meters a second. So that's about a second to second and a half. And then you have to reload, which is still about a decent 2 seconds. And then catch up to get a decent shot on the survivor. This much disruption to the feel-good cycle is why a lot of Slinger players will zone and wait for a survivor to make a mistake, which is a common theme among Wesker and Springtrap, that like a lot of the killers are scared to use their power because they know how long the cooldown is. They're afraid to use their power because they will get heavily punished for trying to do cool shit. The zoning is clearly not fun for either side, and in a certain proximity, the harpoon is unreactable and the survivor input does not matter. But for the Deathslinger, the risk involved with shooting often is way too high. You get these situations where having 1 or 2 attempts to down before being put into a hard cooldown leads to just free zoning by threatening using your power. Now, complaining without a solution is just being whiny, and I've already gone over my Wesker buffs in its own video, but I do think Houndmaster could get a sizable nerf. Her chase command is way too short, but relies on an AI program to come back, and with how stingy behavior is to admit their own mistakes and roll back a clearly bad thing, I think adding 2 or 3 seconds to this chase cooldown can make her less oppressive. In my own opinion, I think the axe recall could just be instant, or maybe make the pizza add-on or whatever, the faster environment recall, just make it instant. It would be so much cooler. Give it like a downside, just anything. I just want to go for cool shit with the axe. I don't care if the successful axe hit is 10 seconds. I don't really give a fuck. Whatever. And the whole thing is that it has an animation, which is slow, and like, it's very confusing why a projectile killer has such a hard cooldown on a power that they benefit getting rid of. To me, that just does not make sense, and I don't know. But lastly, I think Deathslinger should just get like an extra shot or two in his gun. Something to make that reload a little bit less punishing. Now, I know that seems a little bit silly, but I don't really know what to do with Deathslinger. I mean, he's just one of those killers that was poorly designed on launch, that they tried to fill a hole in the game that they didn't realize they didn't really need to fill. And so now we just have to deal with him. Nurse. Who said that? I think a lot of these changes would make the high precision killers less frustrating to miss with, and also more engaging to play against. Now to get into a few killers that don't exactly fit the mold of the issue that I was talking about, but they certainly suffer from it. Freddy and his aka slop counterpart, Clown, who just got probably the worst fucking change they've ever made. Each have a massive hinder projectile, but really have their own ways of getting around the map. Now, Freddy has a 5-second cooldown to his snare, which isn't terrible, especially with how easy it is, and snappy and really just responsive. That the snare travels, and like, it's easy to aim, and it's really easy to dodge at further ranges. Which, that 5-second cooldown doesn't feel like anything, because by the time it gets to the survivor that's 12 meters away when it travels 16 meters, you've already got it back. You've already got a second off your cooldown. So it's just like, Freddy, I think, is the perfect example of this precision cooldown, where it's not too long and it's very easy to dodge, but up close, it's a little bit harder to hit, or like a little bit harder to dodge. Now, I did write up the script before this Clown nerf, I guess, change, but like the purple bottle just denies an area of like 3 meters, 3-meter radius, and it's just, me press button, you slow down. Like, that's just, I feel like behavior makes I feel like behavior makes intricate killers that have a risk and reward to their power, and then leave or create brand new powers that entirely have no trade-off at all. There's far less choices for both sides, and the gameplay at times, most of the time, feels stale. Now, my last example is when Trickster came out, and what originally was the reason for my longest break from the game. He was the same speed as Huntress, yet the power required next to no brain power to use, and was incredibly lethal. It effectively machine gunned down any survivor, and the blades cut nerf after nerf, until we have the sad shell that is the Trickster. Now, Weska, what the hell does all this mean? I think behavior is running out of killer power ideas. Within the last year or so, they upgraded to UE5, Unreal Engine 5, and hopefully with that engine, they can make more interesting, engaging stuff. In a community note, they said that they were trying to figure out how to, like, they were just testing out Unreal Engine 5, which is cool. It sounds awesome. I'm concerned, man. I really am, because I think Springtrap is a very unique killer that kind of takes from a bunch of powers and puts it into one. But I mean, like, Dracula, Houndmaster, Kaneki, just really take Wesker's base power and fill in all the holes that Wesker has that make Wesker a perfectly designed killer, and then leave no counterplay. Now, Dracula out of the three is probably the one with the most counterplay, and I think he has the highest skill ceiling. But like Kaneki has the auto, or like you can choose to cancel your power, which is pretty good on Wesker. Like, I feel like that would be pretty nice. Being able to cancel your power early is pretty nice. Houndmaster has a built-in, her search function allows her to get around the map without wasting precious tokens that are on a 11-second cooldown. Dracula has a completely separate power, his fly and teleport power, completely separate from his dog. And his dog has built-in info, just like Wesker does. Similar to Houndmaster, but you're not using it that much. So, like, all of this, I say all of this to kind of just ask for Wesker buffs. I'm just kidding. But yeah, like this, I feel like behavior just makes changes to say they make changes, or they just go off of statistics that they're looking at on a big spreadsheet. And that's one thing that I don't really understand, is that they're so quick to nerf killer perks because they're overused. And then when Windows of Opportunity is in the top 10 for the last like 3 years that they've been sharing statistics about what killer or what perks are being used the most, suddenly they're a little bit hesitant to nerf that, which it's just like, if you don't know, I think Windows of Opportunity is boring. I don't think it's a strong perk. I think it makes the gameplay incredibly fucking boring. I hate playing against people that use Windows of Opportunity because they all play the same. They run to the pallet, they camp it, they wait for you to get there, and then they just pre-drop it and run to the next pallet. It's so fucking boring, man. It's so boring at playing against these creatures. But yeah, like that. And then they just made the maps basically a mini Windows of Opportunity. I don't know, man. This game is a 1 in a million, and it's being destroyed by people that don't know what the fuck they're doing. That's all. With all that being said, thanks for watching if you made it this far. I don't know why you're still watching. I'm kind of just rambling. But yeah, I've got a couple videos already pre-made. I got a Kaneki video and then a Huntress video, which, dude, this Boulay Brothers skin, oh my god, dude, I would lick the sweat off of her abs, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'm Weska, and I'll catch you later.